What's up, everybody? I am here at my shop, and we're working on my friend's RSX. His radiator fans are messed up, but I'm actually working on DC5Creations turbo kit for an RSX. And here's the RSX. Actually, the other one is also an RSX, but it's not that one. I swapped out the motor because the original motor that we originally had in the car had dropped a valve, and I told him I recommended him just, it was an all motor setup making 300 horsepower. I told him just go turbo, get a simple stock motor, and just make 400 horsepower, and you'll be fine. And from there you can progress. So that's the idea. That's the motor there, and we'll see what happens. This is actually DC5Creations turbo kit that I was talking about earlier. It comes with a Pulsar GT3584. Yeah, GT3584 T4, and then it comes with also a Pulsar, which actually very impressive. How these companies now, they actually pack them up real nice, like if it was a tile, like they actually picked up on making these things a lot nicer. But so it comes with a 60. A long time ago, we actually were testing manifolds on his cars, and we just ended up with 60s that were just the way to go, just to get the creep out of the way. Just do a 60 right off the bat. We don't have to. Some people like the 44, but it's a high percentage that these 44s or 38s, they like single wastegates. They like the creep. So 60 is the way to go. It kills that creep. It works great to me. It has options for different springs and how much boost you want as your base pressure. It comes with the gaskets. It comes with these cool burnt titanium bolts that he provides. I'm not sure if he provides or he just gave them to me. So definitely nice to have this, especially being studs.
Yes,
It's really nice.
sure.
Plenty of space too. Some of these turbo kits, this is so tight. So basically, we're putting this together now so that I can go over there, clean up what I have to clean up, put the manifold, test fit it, so I know where to put the drain plug. I personally wanted to do the drain line in front of the oil pan instead of the back, how everybody does. But that's just personal preference. I think it doesn't really matter. I've seen cars where we have it in the back, smoke.
Yep.
Put it in the front, stop smoking.
Yep.
Don't have an idea as to why, but I mean that would be my guess.
Yep. And it doesn't hurt anyways.
Right, it doesn't. So that's why I prefer doing it in the front.
Yep.
So we're gonna keep the steel pan versus the aluminum pan because of that. All right. So surprisingly enough, it comes with a spring chart, and for you guys that actually putting your cars together yourself, or even your mechanics, let them know that even Pulsar gates, it says it right here, 16-pound spring pre-installed. So 16 pounds is not what I want in this car in particular. I want 5 to 6 pounds. So I gotta choose a different color. I believe it's blue. No, it's actually yellow. Yellow alone. It's just by itself on a 60. It's 5 psi. Am I correct? Yes. All right. So you have to put this on a vise or somebody that's very, very, very strong, and then you can actually, open it. If not, it'll shoot open and it'll hit you in the face. So this is very important. You got to do this now and make sure you choose the right spring. Make sure that even if it's outside the box tile, outside the box, it tells you what spring is in it, especially the 60 gates. The smaller gates, I'm not too sure if it tells you outside the box, but always look at your spring charts. They're online as well. Google is a wonderful thing to use. And you can look at your spring chart and make sure you choose what your minimum boost would be. Because when we're here on the dyno and you have 20-pound springs or 16-pound springs, the car is going to make over 400 horsepower very easily. Sometimes it's too much if it's on pump gas. So you have to make sure you get it done before you come to a dyno with whoever you're tuning with, so that you don't kill your session. Because it is going to be very hot, and who in the hell is going to take out this wastegate that is down there at the bottom? The transmission's in the way, everything's in the way. So get it done now and make sure it is actually done very good. All right. So the car used to be all motor, so not like the harness was tucked back here. The flex fuel was also back here. But now that it's going to go on boost, catch can was also back here. So now that we're going to go on boost, we're going to remove all of this to make space and relocate the regulator and the flex fuel sensor. And then we'll test fit the manifold, make sure everything's okay, how it's supposed to go. And then I want to do the mocking of the oil return line. All right, turbo is on. I definitely gonna have to redo the catch cans. I'm not sure if I should do them in the front or maybe just one and put the catch can here. I had to take back the manifold off because the center cartridge wasn't clocked, so I had to loosen up the bolts and I couldn't get to it when manifold on. So I clocked the center cartridge. Now return is installed, and believe it or not, the same hose he provides for the rear works for the front. So I weld the bung here, down here, and that'll be it for the return. It is going to be not in the prettiest locations, but it definitely, for me, I personally like it here, and I want it here, and it's not going to be really in the way or anything. So let's put the manifold on later and test fit that theory too. So we'll go from here. All right, guys, day 2. I got the bung welded onto the oil pan on the front side of the engine. I'm going to clean it up, take off all the silicone, wash it really good, put it back up. While I was getting this done, my friend Tony did the axles, mid shaft with the axle. He also mocked up the downpipe and the dump tube. We left all the wrapping on just to see so we don't damage it, scratch it, or anything. And then now that we know where everything goes and the other piece of pipe is over there, we can finalize the oil pan, put the subframe on. Actually, probably put the pipes on first and then do the subframe last. All right. Oil pan is on. The drain line is on. I still have to tighten it. Wanted to mention the drain plugs for the oil pan and for the transmission. I like purchasing the ones from Skunk 2. They come with magnet tips just so it can catch any debris. I wanted to speak about the oil feed line. When people like to use sandwich plates, that's great. The people that like to use where the oil pressure switch is at, luckily we already had this from the old motor, and we already had an oil pressure sensor from AEM, like an AEM gauge, so we don't really use the actual switch, the factory switch. But I believe this is from K-Tune. The thread is, what was it again? BSPT 1/8 BSPT. The block, if you use the block has that thread pitch. If you use 1/8 MPT, you can damage the thread and possibly even crack the block on the side. And then you have to take the motor out, get it welded, and it's just a big mission. So we got lucky. We have this piece, and we on the side right here, it has an Allen key. I take off the Allen screw, the cap, and then I'll put the feed line from here to the turbo. So that's one of the things that a lot of people don't talk about, which is that thread pitch. All right. Today we actually been working on the RSX, day 3 on the RSX, and we still got a couple things that we're trying to get done, and take the manifold back off with the turbo and tap the turbo, run the the harness behind the on the firewall, things like that. But I ended up getting this 8th Gen SI. It's a K24 GT30. It's a I just did a pull to check. I actually got the plugs, make sure they were good, because they changed the plugs, but they didn't gap them. Strapped it down, did a pull, and it was pretty much already done from the last time I've done this car. All right, so she pretty much made the same power. 413. I had to clean it up just a little bit from the last time I tuned it. Um, it's just most stock K24, 1000cc injectors, pump gas 93. Very simple setup. That was first pass and second pass, so you can see a little bit of gains here. So it was just made it a little leaner, and that's about it. There wasn't much I can really do. He previously had a problem with the engine, where not the engine, but he had a misfire, so they had to change spark plugs and coils. And then he purchased a car from somebody like this, and just pretty much the previous owner is the one who I tuned, and then now I just did a retune right now. So, well, she's good to go now. Now he can go and have some fun with it. All right, guys. So it's been a couple days since I've been able to do a recording, or actually work on the car. I've been doing some dynos. Uh, right now, getting ready to do another dyno now with my friend Vidal. Um, so I had to extend the map sensor and TPS. I put a 4 bar. I went to go visit our local shop, Nippon Power, and I picked up a couple things like more heat sleeve for a harness that's here. The shifter cables, the fuel lines that are down here as well. The feed lines here, the return lines right here. I still haven't decided on what I'm going to do with the feed line, or I'm sorry, the return line. Um, it did have a flex fuel sensor before. I'm thinking about not running it because we're only going to go for 400 horsepower and leaving it on pump gas. It is very hard for him to get 85 in his area, so might as well just leave it at 400 horsepower, pump gas. He doesn't have to go any far or out of his way to go get 85. And then later on, if he wants to change injectors and fuel pump, then we can put back the flex fuel sensor. The wiring is still here, so I would have to extend it because I think I'm going to put the regulator on this side instead of having it on top like how it was before when it was on motor. But I did the pipes and mounted the intercooler, and I just had to cut a little bit of this pipe, maybe about this much, to be able to line it up with this pipe here. I also have a bead roller, so I was able to bead it in the end, so that way it doesn't pop off. Again, we're only going to make 400 horsepower. I doubt it's going to pop off. These clamps are more than capable of doing more than you can imagine. But again, this kit is really, really nice, and I really like it. It's very minor little things you have to do to make it fit. That intercooler pipe right here was just off by a little bit, and I think that maybe with a K20, it would sit differently instead of the K24, but I wouldn't really know until we actually try it on a K20. That's just my guess. Um, I'm almost done with the car, so soon enough I'll get to do some dyno. I already got it running and started and make sure everything was okay, no leaks. Oil pan's dry, everything's dry. I have to lock all the bolts now for both housings to make sure, now that I know where I wanted the turbo to be clocked at. Wastegate dump has to be tightened down a little bit, but the downpipe's already positioned. I do have to also the power steering, the electric power steering, the connector here where that power cable is right there. Just have to make sure it doesn't burn, so I have to figure out something. But that's the heat sleeve that I was talking about. I'm going to put it on the shifter cables, and I'm also going to put it on the fuel lines. so it covers everything up. I'm gonna put the belt on it now, and then probably get it started and make it run. Program the 4-bar map sensor onto the tune, and make sure that it actually runs and idles. And again, make sure there's no leaks, especially coolant. Put some more coolant, and that's about it. Starter signal. Dale. Yeah, I know. That's good. Ask him what the oil pressure is. What the oil pressure? All right, you can shut it off. Just to give you guys an update on the RSX, I have it on the dyno now, and it's 95% done. And the only reason why it's not done 100% is because I did not wire the boost controller, because I want to get a nice connector. My friend Bush and Tony and everybody else has helped me. It's been a great journey with this thing. It's actually very simple to do the turbo kit. Had a little bit of problems with the intercooler pipe here on this side. I had to take out the fog light. As you can tell, he had fog lights. So I had to cut out the bumper a little bit there just to make it fit. I like using heat sleeves for the push lock hoses. So heat sleeves right under the turbo for the wastegate. Make sure there's nothing wrong with it. Heat sleeve on the harness, heat sleeves on the fuel lines. You can see the heat sleeves right here, the Velcro style, and the shifter cables. So we ran boost reference to the regulator. Boost controllers down there with the 2 lines. Everything's all in. The only thing is I just did not do the connector. So I'm trying to tune the car now on pump gas. It has so far about 3 pounds of boost on the wastegate spring. I'm sure they'll do more once I get to higher RPMs. But other than that, that's about it. I mean, I can't really do much more except just going up on boost. I also did get another belt that previously he had, which was eliminating the AC compressor, because right now he's not going to use it. I drove it the other day to get the exhaust done, and it drove very good. I didn't get a video of that because there's just too much going on that day. But it's running. It's on the dyno. Idle's a little rich, but I'm working on it. All right, guys. So I did not get what I wanted out of the car. It was kind of my fault, but it was on purpose, because what I did was I put a small spring on the gate. It was getting about almost 4 psi. But the 3-port boost controller was not enough to go up. I only got up to 10 pounds. So I'm going to have to get a 4-port and try it again, and that'll be tomorrow. I did connect temporarily the boost controller just to see how much it would get. And sure enough, we didn't get enough. But we ended up getting 378 at almost 10 pounds, like 9.7. What did it make? 297 or yeah, 297 on 5 psi. So I think that's pretty good. I wanted to keep it there because that way the owner does come from being all motor. So now that it's turbo, I want to give him first and second gear as little as possible, and then once third comes in, I can give him and just ramp up the boost as the gears go up. But so I can get him used to it. Once he gets used to it, then I can ramp him up more. But obviously, we'll have to change the spring and then go on from there. But for right now, I will leave it there. And then tomorrow, I'm gonna go to Nippon Power and pick up a 4-port boost controller and then plumb it all up and then put it back on and finish up the dyno session. All right, guys. So I finally got the 4-port boost controller installed. Went to Nippon Power, one of our local stores here. I got a couple other things along with it. TPS was also kind of acting up, so I ended up buying one of those Acuity. I don't know how to say those. That name is kind of weird to me. Um, Installed the boost controller, did a couple hits, finally got it to go up to 13 pounds, and it made 422 at, like I said, 14 pounds. A very peak 14 pounds. 422, 320 torque. I still have to find a nice connector for the boost controller. I kind of want to make sure that it's nice and being able to disconnect if anything. But I love this turbo kit. DC5Creations did an amazing job with the turbo kit. Did a lot of homework on it. It's actually above entry level, and it's actually pricing very well for like an entry level turbo kit. It's those kind of pricings, and it's above the entry level. Like it actually performs very well. I love the fact that it has a 60 millimeter gate as an that's the only option as a wastegate. No creep issues. I had put a 5 pound spring. 5 pounds is what I got. It's a GT35 84 T4. Downpipe cleared the electric power steering. It cleared everything. Subframe was beautiful. Everything was just cleared perfect. The intercooler piping was 90% perfect. The only thing I had to do was cut about a little bit of this on the pipe. I beaded the pipe. Everything was perfect. Other than that, I have no complaints at all. This turbo kit is amazing. So the owner of the car is coming in today, and I am going to do a couple more pulls and attempt to try to do a little bit more, but I think I'm going to leave it there. It's on pump gas 93. It does have a flex fuel sensor. I decided not to connect it because in his area he doesn't have any 85, so we're just leaving it like that for now, and that way he doesn't have to worry about going out of town to go get 85 and then coming back home, and then still at the end of the day he would have to get extra fuel, keep it at home. It's just a pain. So leave it on pump gas. Makes 420, better than his actual all motor setup that dropped the valve. His all motor setup actually made 300, but it dropped the valve. So now we just got to take apart the engine, see what's salvageable, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, so I was able to finish the RSX, and I was actually able to deliver the car to him. I didn't capture the moments of him actually driving the car and how excited he was to have driven the car for the first time. I'm very happy with the results. DC5Creations Turbo Kit it's very good kit, very affordable. It's very easy to install. I enjoyed actually installing the turbo kit and actually being able to tune the car afterwards. It was just an amazing experience for me. And I've done a bunch of other cars, and I've done a bunch of other setups and everything. And for me, this was actually very exciting because I was able to do this video. And this is actually my first time making a video and actually trying to put it here on YouTube. So I hope you guys liked it. I hope I was able to explain as good as I could with everything that the turbo kit required and whatever I preferred in certain areas. I'm here now in Maryland. We're gonna go to World Cup. I came over to assist Frustrate EG. I wasn't able to get too much footage on the RSX like I wanted to show you guys more. It is actually very challenging to record and then to do all the work, and then at the same time I had cars that I had to tune in between, and it just took me a while to get the car done, but it was a success. The gentleman was happy. I'm happy with the turbo kit. Like I said, DC5Creations makes a really good turbo kit, and I would recommend it to everybody. Honestly, it is perfect for your street cars. Even if you had a very simple, index car, you can buy that turbo kit for your K-swap car. You actually order the RSX turbo kit, and it works for a K-swap car, and you can go tens with no problem. So, again, I would recommend the turbo kit. Is very practical. It works very well. If anybody is interested, or just contact DC5Creations, and he'll give you more information. Again, I'm here in Maryland, so I'm gonna end this here now. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate everything, and I'm gonna keep trying to see if I can give you guys more content.